Testing 1, 2, 3. There we go. So just to recap, last week we've been talking about let your light shine, love your enemies, let your light shine, don't worry, be holy. Thank you. It's on the website, look it up. Don't worry, be holy. Remember we talked about don't worry, be holy, the trust in God, don't worry, be holy. I told you the story about the minister's family in China, communist China, and they were under house arrest, and they told they can go home, but they only could take 200 pounds with them. Remember that story? And they could, so they weighed the vase, they weighed the book, they weighed the dress, they had it on the bathroom scale, 200 pounds, and the soldiers came, and the soldiers said, did you weigh everything? Yes, we did. And did you weigh, what did they ask? Did you weigh the children? And so the rest became trash. So when you trust in God and you find out what's really important, those worries, they're still there, but not as overwhelming. And you have God's peace and not the worries of the world. So we hear Jesus saying, don't worry, be holy. Be holy. That's right. So how many of y'all tried that? I mentioned I mentioned count your blessings as a way to daily, hit your knees beside your bed every night and just count your blessings, 10, one for each finger, and count your blessings. How many of y'all tried that this week? How many tried that? There you go, a few of you did. So let your light shine, way to go. To count your blessings and don't worry, be holy. And it's a wonderful way to count your blessings. Count your blessings, put those worries away. This week is Lent, and we're starting a new theme. Our theme is, help me out, a closer walk, a closer walk. And I want to speak particularly to those of you who may not have been in church for a while, who are using this Lent saying, I want to get back to church. Something's missing in my life. Let's get back, and I want to get back to church and get more involved and just get the Mass every Sunday. So I want to talk particularly to you. First of all, welcome, but I really want to say a few words to you. The rest of you guys is kind of tune out, right? Okay. But welcome, of course. And to walk closely with Christ, that's how you know his peace. That's how you know his joy. That's how you know his freedom, when you know Christ and follow him. And so a closer walk is our theme. The Lord wants us to walk more closely following Jesus Christ. And that's what we all are here for. And the church gives you 3 ways to do that, particularly during Lent. Just like to be strong in body, you need to do cardio, you need to do strengthening exercises, and you need to stretch. Those 3 things, like a stool. If you take away one of them, your body falls apart, right? Yep. So you need to do 3 things for your body, same for your soul. And those 3 things are simply pray, fast, and give alms. Pray, fast, and give alms. To pray, as a parish, we have a morning reflection coming up. It's a great way to get together and pray. We have a parish intention for Lent, that we may walk more closely with Christ. That's our intention, to pray every day. And to fast, to discipline yourself, so you don't live for your stomach. You don't live to eat, but you eat to live. And myself, I'm drinking only water, eating normal, drinking water. And on Fridays during Lent, what do we not eat? No meat on Friday. Great. So we fast. And finally, we give alms. Our parish has a day of service coming up, and we also give 1% of your income, give your money to the poor. You do those 3 things, pray, fast, give alms, I guarantee you'll have a closer walk with the Lord. Guarantee you. Okay? Now, the more you do this, here's a warning to those who are getting back into things. The closer you walk with Christ, the more you're going to get tempted. The closer you get to Christ, the more the devil wants to pull you apart. The devil does not want you walking with Christ. He wants you out alone, walking on your own. Because a lone sheep is a dead sheep. He doesn't want you part of the flock. So the closer you walk to Christ, the more you are going to get tempted. I mean, look at Adam and Eve. They had it all. They're in the Garden of Paradise, Garden of Eden. And the serpent sneaks into that and says, oh, it's okay. You can eat that tree. The Lord said don't eat it, but, he's just keeping that from you because that's really special. And when you eat that, you'll be wise, be strong, and you'll know what's right and wrong. You can decide what's best for you. You don't need to listen to God. You can walk on your own. Well, they bought it. They distrusted God. They didn't believe God's goodness in them. And once that shift from God loves me and wants what's best for me, to like, well, I'm not so sure what God is doing for me. Once they lost that total trust, then they were good as dead. They took that fruit, and how well did that work out for them? Bad. Bad. No. So that seed of distrust, that leads to sin. And that's what the devil wants to do with you, to tempt you. Oh, you don't need to pray. You don't need to pray. You can figure it out yourself. No, you don't need to fast. It's okay to eat whatever you need. You feel like you need. You decide, and it's okay. You don't need to give to the poor. They deserve it. They'll take care of themselves. They'll be fine. No. As soon as you fall for those things, you're going to walk farther from the Lord. The devil doesn't want you walking with Christ. So the closer you walk to Christ, the more you're going to get tempted. But the good news is that temptation is an opportunity to grow closer to Christ. Temptation is an opportunity to reach out to God and to grab that moment and say, oh my gosh, I'm getting all these, I'm getting these ideas to do things differently and walk away from Christ, and God help me. I need your help. So temptation is an opportunity to reach, not for the fruit, but to reach up to God. Jesus was tempted. In the desert, after fasting 40 days and 40 nights, he was tempted. He was hungry. And the devil said to him, change these stones into loaves of bread. Why not? No one will know. You're the Son of God. Do whatever you want. What he was tempting Jesus to do was to use his own power for himself and not trust God to provide for him. You notice Jesus never, ever used his power for his own needs. He healed others, took care of others, but never for himself. Interesting. But Jesus trusted God to provide for him, and he said, not by bread alone does one live, but by every word that comes from the mouth of God. He reached up to God. Then the devil tempted him to throw himself off a high point so God would have to catch him and protect him. And basically, Jesus says, nope, I trust God to protect me. I'm not going to do anything foolish and reckless, but I trust God. He will protect me. He's the Lord of life. And finally, the devil brought him to a high point and said, all this will be yours, all power and authority will be yours. Jesus says, no, I don't trust me. I trust God, the Father. I trust his power, his authority. I trust God to use his power and authority for my good and my salvation. And the devil left him. So Jesus was tempted in the desert. And you too, the closer you walk to Christ, the more you're going to be tempted. But like Jesus, you can trust in God to provide for you, protect you, and use all power and authority for your good. So that on the way, there will be suffering, there will be deserts, but it leads to the resurrection and his joy. Now, I have something for you that will help you to trust in God. And you can find this pretty much anywhere. And you know how we have like miraculous medals and people with crucifixes, and those are good things to remind us of Christ and his love for us, or a saint you ask to pray for you. Those are wonderful things to have. I got a little medal right here, and you can find it just about anywhere. And it only costs you a penny, because you know what it is? A penny. And on a penny, there's 4 little words. Every penny has them. It's amazing. Every penny has these 4 little words. It says, in God we trust. In God we trust. Exactly. So when you find yourself being tempted, grab that penny in your pocket, your prayer penny, and pull out those words. In God we trust. In God we trust. And it works. It reminds you, renews that trust in God, that little prayer penny, to trust in God, even as Jesus did. And you will walk closely, more closely than ever with the Lord. Now it happens, of course, that we do forget our prayer penny, that we do sin, that we do fall for temptation, we buy the devil's lies. We do fall for that and think that we can take care of ourselves. No. So that happens. So God gives us a great gift, the sacrament of reconciliation, confession. Now some of you may have had a bad experience with a priest in the past, And it said, nope, never going back there again. But let me ask you, if you had a bad experience with a doctor, would you never go to a doctor again in your life? Of course not. Find another doctor. So this Tuesday we have a penance liturgy, and there'll be 8 priests here, wonderful men, holy men, very kind, here to give you God's pardon and give you God's peace so that you can walk closer to Christ. We'll be gathered together for prayers and listen, and then a chance to sit down with the priest and just bring whatever you want to get rid of, those regrets, that past, and get rid of those things so that you can walk more closely with Christ this Tuesday. What a great way to walk with Christ. So these 40 days of Lent have begun. They've begun. We pray, we fast, we give alms, we walk with the Lord. And then once a week, every Sunday, the day of the resurrection, we sit down with the Lord at his own table, and he strengthens us with his body and blood. We share this holy meal with him so that we can then go forth into the week each day, walking with the Lord who we received. May we, the entire parish community, walk closer to Christ today and tomorrow, all the way to Easter.